Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. This is our next session here. We just had an amazing opening session from Sarah Wesson, Executive Director and founder of 911 Wonder Women, Inc. And next we have Juliet Brown out of WestComm in Mass. Not everyone in your circle is in your corner. I'm excited for this one, and it is so awesome to have you here, and we are live. Take it away, my friend. Go for it.
Thanks, Ricardo. It's so great to be here. Just as a side note, Roxy, I wrote down on a sticky note ham dip with a question mark because I need to Google it later. I have no idea what ham dip is. And that's just very intriguing to me. But anyway, so just a little bit about me. I am the Senior Supervisor at WestComm Regional Dispatch in Chicopee, Massachusetts. Most people don't know this about Mass, but we still have over 200 PSAPs in Massachusetts. We're currently working on regionalization. So our center is still just over 3 years old. We currently dispatch police, fire, and EMS for 5 different communities. And I've been dispatching for 8 years this month, actually. My main focus is training and community outreach. So if that's something that interests any of you, you guys want to share any info back and forth, absolutely reach out to me. My email's at the end of this presentation. Thank you, Lori, for my dispatch anniversary this month. More importantly than anything that I do, I am a dog mom to a wonderful 5-year-old black lab mix named Lucy. This picture is her and I hiking out in Western Mass. So if anybody wants to get into hiking and don't know how or where to start, absolutely reach out to me. I would love to share info on that as well. Yes, Erica, Lucy. All right, so let's get started. Personal growth is great. We all love success, happiness, working on ourselves, achieving our goals, right? It's why we're all here today. We want to do better and be better for ourselves. But no one talks about how painful it can be. Sometimes the people we love most, the people that we hold closest to our hearts, they don't grow with us. So what happens when you're striving to be a better person, to grow more, to achieve more, and the girls in your corner don't grow with you? Your corner is still there, but it's moved 5 leaps ahead. You stop, look around. Some of the girls, they grew with you, and that's great. But some of your girls are still 5 leaps behind waiting. They're waiting for you to come back because they weren't ready to move forward. They may unintentionally try to pull you back to them because they love you and they want you close. They don't understand why things are different, why you're different, why they can't be the same way they've always been. They want you to go back to them. But going back to them would involve you not being true to yourself. Going back would mean disappointing yourself every single day that you're there with them. What do? You love this person or these persons with your entire being, but you no longer see eye to eye with them. They no longer want what's best for you because they're so wrapped up in trying to keep you close that they can't see the bigger picture. If you're able to set a boundary with them, to stay acquaintances with them without it taking your peace, and that's what you want to do, then that's phenomenal and I highly encourage that. But if you can't stay in contact with them without it disrupting your peace, you have to let them leave. And no one talks about how painful that can be. How temporarily you may find yourself with no one to text your random thoughts to at 3 a.m. But it's necessary for us to set these boundaries to preserve ourselves. Boundaries are important and we need to put ourselves first no matter what. So, today we're going to talk about some of the subtle and not so subtle actions that those around us do when we work hard and find success. And we're also going to acknowledge that growth hurts, growing pains are real, and we're just going to leave some space for that pain. Dominique, I love that. 2023 boundaries. Love that. All right, so think about. Originally, I had this titled as objectives, but in reality, this is an ongoing thing that you're gonna face every day for the rest of forever. So just today, I want you to start thinking about these different points, so that way you don't end up in a situation where your coworkers or your friends know some personal information that you didn't want everyone to know. So, first and foremost, we want to recognize that not everyone wants what's best for us. This was something that was really hard for me to swallow. It's kind of my hard lesson that I have to relearn all of the time. I feel like overall I'm pretty sunshine and rainbows and I want what's best for everybody and I'm like a super cheerleader for everybody. So recognizing that not everybody necessarily has your best interest at heart is something that I struggle with. Yes, Erica, exactly. They want to see you do good, but never better than them. We also want to recognize that we need to continue to evaluate the people that we let closest to us. As we grow and change and come into ourselves and all of that fun stuff, the people around us also grow and change. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we're growing in the same direction. So, people that were once in our corner that once wanted what's best for us, things change. We want to make sure that we still actually have the people in our corner that we perceive to be. We also want to decipher how to tell if someone's in our corner or not. Roxy, the Juliet Brown that started at Nina. Um, who we let closest to us really does determine how successful we are in life. So we want to make sure that we surround ourselves with people who motivate and encourage us consistently. Then if somebody's not in our corner, we have to decide if we're going to let them stay in our lives and at what capacity. Are we going to cut them off completely? Are we going to censor what we say to them? That's all up to you. You just have to set that hard boundary and stick to it. And then I just love this little meme over here. Growth is painful, change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying somewhere you don't belong. So, definitions for the purpose of today. Your circle is simply just your social circle, the people you interact with on a regular basis. Your corner, though, those are the people that show up for you, the people that truly celebrate your successes They go to bat for you. They're honest when they think you're making a mistake. They value your opinion. You value theirs. And I just want to say it doesn't matter how long you've known somebody as to if they're in your corner or not. This picture right here is the fabulous Samantha Hawkins and I. She's a keynote later today. Sam, I know you're in the audience. Keynote. She is a great dispatcher down in Georgia, and we are constantly celebrating each other's successes. We're constantly going back and forth with different ideas for dispatch, different trainings, different things like that. True definition of somebody in your corner. She also, side note, was 911 Wonder Woman of the Year. And that picture was taken right after she got named 911 Wonder Woman of the Year. All right. So if someone is doing something on this slide, then they're probably not in your corner. But if they're doing multiple things on this slide, then we definitely want to evaluate our relationships with them. Do they clap and cheer only when other people are looking? You know, those people that clap and they say good job, and the second the person turns around, they have sugar honey iced tea to say about it. For example, say Sally wins an award and she's super excited. Both you and Susie are clapping for Sally. But the moment Sally turns around, Susie rolls her eyes and says that Sally doesn't deserve that award. Susie's not in Sally's corner. But Susie's also not in your corner. Think about how we always say in situations with the other woman, with people dating, we always say, if he will cheat on somebody with you, he will cheat on you with somebody else. That applies to friends too. If somebody is willing to talk poorly about a friend in front of you, given the same opportunity, they'll talk poorly about you in front of somebody else. That was a hard lesson that I learned this year, for sure. Yes, Ray, you know I had to bring Mean Girls into this. All right, another thing that they could do is they could try to overpower your success with theirs. So Sally's telling, ooh, that's very true, Erica. They don't even acknowledge an accomplishment of yours that you're proud of. They kind of just like skip over it. So trying to overpower your success with theirs. Sally is telling all of the details of this award that she just won. She saved a baby that wasn't breathing. She's going through all of the details of this award and the call that she took and what she felt and everything. And right as she gets to the tip of it, Susie cuts her off and says, well, she saved 3 babies not breathing this year and she didn't get an award for it. That's a red flag. It could also come about as they're talking over them, as if they're not even meaning to say, sorry, hold on. As if they're not even, like, as if you weren't even talking. So say, for example, Sally's telling this story of how she saved the baby not breathing. And then right as she gets to the head of the story this time, Susie goes, hey guys, what's for lunch? As if Sally wasn't even talking. First off, that's rude as hell. And second of all, Susie has just showed that she has no respect for Sally because she can't respect the fact that she was talking. Another red flag would be sharing personal information. A hard lesson that I learned this year was if you tell someone, if someone's telling you something private about someone else, then they are also telling your private information. People that go around sharing secrets that they're not supposed to be sharing will also share your secrets that you don't want them to share. Another red flag is they throw somebody under the bus for their own success. So, for example, Sally messed up an address. Before the call was even dispatched, Susie caught the mistake and fixed it. It's Sally's first address error ever, but Susie wants credit for fixing it. So Susie goes around and she tells everybody that she got Sally out of a write-up, and she goes around and she tells everybody that that Sally made a mistake and that she fixed it and she's looking for credit. Gossiping about someone's mistakes for their own benefit is a clear sign that they're not in your corner. Another red flag is that they only respond to you when they need something from you. For example, Sally really wants to hang out with Susie. She texts her a few times. Sally doesn't respond at all. I'm sorry, Susie doesn't respond at all. Then one day, Susie finally answers and she's like, "Yeah, I want to hang out. How does Saturday sound? Oh, also, can you pick me up from the dealership Saturday? My car needs to get work done." Susie has no interest in hanging out with Sally. Susie just wants a ride from Sally. And that can be something that's kind of harder to depict of if somebody is using you for little things like that. This picture right here, as Rayanne pointed out, is a picture from the movie Mean Girls. Most of us here have seen the movie Mean Girls. Think about the little stuff that those girls do to each other every single day. They trap each other in three-way calls. They invite them or don't invite them to parties. They, tell lies, all this other stuff. People still do these actions as adults. If you're trying to better yourself, don't waste your time with that pettiness. Share space with people that thrive and want to see you thrive. All right, so this next sentence is the most important part of today. So if you take anything back from my seminar today, it's this next sentence. If you are doing something great, phenomenal, brave, empowering, insert any adjective here, and someone tries to cut you down or make you feel less than for it, then that person is not in your corner. Gonna say it again. If you are doing something great, phenomenal, brave, empowering, and someone tries to cut you down or make you feel less than for it, then that person is not in your corner under any circumstances. Boundaries need to be set. Your peace needs to be protected at all costs. You come first. Yes, Dominique, release the negative energy. Sarah also brought up this phenomenal book by Glennon Doyle, Untamed. So if you we very clearly read the same books. But here's just a quote that I love from Glennon Doyle's book, Untamed. Every time you're given a choice between disappointing somebody else and disappointing yourself, your duty is to disappoint that someone else. Your job throughout your entire life is to disappoint as many people as it takes to avoid disappointing yourself. Sorry, I got caught up in the comments. Um, yes, Sarah, I love this quote. It's something great to remind yourself all the time of. As Sarah pointed out in the previous presentation, sometimes it's really hard to do things for ourselves, things that we like, it's just because it's good for us. But I'm here to tell you again that you are phenomenal, intelligent, worthy, and kind, and that you deserve to be put first in your own mind. All right. So now we're going to talk about some green flags. All right. So one green flag is that they remember an important event in your life, and they ask you about it. So the people in my corner, a lot of them texted me over the last 24 hours telling me good luck. Yes, Sarah, you're on this slide. You're a green flag, that's why. Some more of them will text me afterwards to say I did a good job or to ask me about it. The people that care about you genuinely remember, and they remember all these little details of your life or big details like speaking to 900-ish people. And they ask you about it. Another green flag is that they genuinely celebrate your successes. So when I tell them how great today was and how amazing I did, they're going to genuinely be happy for me. They're going to jump up and down and scream on the phone and tell me that they knew I could do it, that they knew I'd be successful, all this other stuff. Someone in your corner also is your cheerleader when you need it. So one of my biggest cheerleaders is a lieutenant at my part-time job, Lieutenant Knoyer. Kelly, I know you're watching from somewhere right now. She is my biggest hype girl. Last time I gave this presentation, I was super nervous and I called her right before I went on stage. I actually missed my introduction because I was on the phone with her. But she is a fantastic person that's always in my corner, my biggest hype girl. Another green flag is that they care enough about you to be honest with you. The thing that I most think of when I hear this is Brene Brown's book, Dare to Lead. If you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend it. It's phenomenal. One of the main takeaways is that clear is kind and unclear is unkind. So, is someone willing to have a hard conversation with you? Are they willing to say, hey, I like your presentation, but slide 8 kind of sucks? And work with you so that way you can better your presentation and better yourself for it overall. This picture here is me and Sarah Weston, who spoke before me and will speak again after me. As you guys know, she's founder and CEO of 911 Wonder Woman, and she is very much in my corner. She is the perfect example of somebody that talks about you in a room full of opportunities. So she believes in me and sets me up for all these great things, and somebody in my corner for sure. All right, some more green flags is they keep your information private and they don't share private information of others. So just as gossiping about someone else is a red flag, not gossiping is a green flag. Especially if you know that they have the other side of the story and they don't tell you the other side. Also, on the flip side, respect people in your corner enough not to put them in a situation where they would have to disclose someone else's private information. So, say it's a mutual friend and you and this girl got into a fight. Don't ask the mutual friend, well, what did she say about me? Well, um, well, what did she say about me? And try to get them to, tell you what they said. Respect them, not to put them in that awkward situation. Sorry, guys, I'm just getting distracted by all the comments here. Thanks, Sam. All right, so admitting mistakes. No one is perfect. No one. Not a single person in this entire world is perfect. Is somebody able to take the blame for their mistakes and their side of things when they mess up? And I'm not saying this as a, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way, bullcrap kind of apology. I'm saying this is a, I'm sorry that what I did hurt you. It was never my intention to hurt you. My intention was, and they're able to have a real adult conversation with you about whatever happened. Real adult conversations go a long way. Do they talk positively about you behind your back? So this one is kind of hard to depict, but some examples of this, some signs of this could be people come to you and they say, oh, Sally told me so many good things about you. And then they mention one of the cool things that you recently accomplished. Or people greet you warmly and they say that they're friends with Sally and they look forward to getting to know you. They could come up to you with opportunities because they spoke to Sally and Sally recommended you to them. Those are all green flags. Another green flag would be they stand up for you when you need backup. So, little story time. I have a friend, Melissa, who's a firefighter at a super small town fire department. And there's just a few females. Her and this one girl, Nicole, both work there full time. So Melissa noticed that Nicole was being treated unfairly by some of the command staff. She knew it wasn't right, but she was conflicted on what to do and asked me what I thought. We debated it and went back and forth, and ultimately we had a you have to be able to live with yourself conversation. So Melissa ended up reporting it to other command staff, and ultimately the problem was rectified. Now, if this had gone poorly, it could have backlashed on both of them being two small females in a small old school fire department. But Melissa knew that it was worth it in the end to stand up and take that risk, and ultimately the problem was rectified. So Melissa showed up for Nicole that day. But Melissa also showed that she's in my corner and I'm in her corner. She valued my opinion enough that she came to me looking for help for resolution. She trusted that I would give her honest advice, even though ultimately at the end of our conversation, it led to her having to have a hard but necessary conversation. Another green flag would be they stand up for you when you're not in the room. Let's be honest for a moment. Dispatch centers can be so gossipy. Oh my gosh, we are such gossipers overall. And like some days, I swear the door isn't even shut. And there are people gossiping about the girl that just went to the bathroom. Like, oh, did you hear her tone on the call that she just took? Like, don't do that. Come on, guys, don't do that. It's not worth it. It's amazing how much, if that's happening in your center, how quickly you can cut that conversation out completely by just being like, oh, I don't agree with that. Or, oh, I really like her, or anything along those lines will cut that conversation out completely. Please, please, please be the person that stands up for the person that just went to the bathroom, for the person that called out sick, even though you guys think that they're faking it. Just stand up for them, please. It's worth it, I promise. This picture here is actually a screenshot of a conversation between Sam Hawkins and I. It was right after my little widget for this presentation was posted, and she took a picture of it and sent it to me. And we just go back and forth a little bit about how excited we both are that we're both speaking today. Highly recommend you go watch her speak. All right. So the marble jar theory. This is a theory that I first learned about when I was listening to Brene Brown's Dare to Lead podcast. Just as she has a book called Dare to Lead, she has a phenomenal podcast where she talks to leaders from all over the world. So in this theory, it's a great theory if you tend to be an oversharer. Everybody starts off with an empty jar. And when they do something trustworthy, kind, positive, a few marbles go in that jar. Then they do something rude, trustworthy, negative, a few marbles come out of that jar. Pretty simple concept overall. I like to use this personally when I'm trying to decide if I want to share information with somebody. I just quickly go through my head and think, all right, what has this person done that is super trustworthy that makes me think that they can keep this information private? And I think, and sometimes I'll even like make a little mental note in my head of everything. And then, all right, what have they done that could be seen as untrustworthy or not kind that might make me question if I should tell them this? And I think of everything, and that helps me weigh back and forth if I should share this information. When in doubt, zip your lip. It's not worth it. It's not worth your personal information getting out to the entire dispatch floor, getting out to your entire friends group. It's not worth that 3-second satisfaction of telling somebody. So, decision points. We've decided that somebody's not in our corner. They broke our trust by telling an embarrassing story about us to a friend or a coworker. They said they would come in early for forced overtime and they didn't show. They told your boss about a mistake you made, even though you were able to fix it in a timely manner and no one was hurt. What do you do? Do you confront them? Do you censor what you say to them? Do you just go on forever knowing in your heart that you can't tell them intimate details of your life? This is all up to you. There's no right or wrong answer here, but you have to be able to find a hard boundary that you can set and stick to over time because, again, we need to preserve ourselves under all costs. As a side note, if you are going to confront them, don't do it on the dispatch floor. Don't, please, please, please don't do it on the dispatch floor. Don't do it in front of people. Don't do it when you're drunk. If they're a coworker, consider pulling in human resources depending on your relationship with HR and what exactly the situation is. But just please don't do it in front of a bunch of people. Set a time, have a good adult, honest conversation with them, even if they're unable to have an adult conversation back with you. You still need to make that effort to have an adult conversation with them. But we need to set a boundary that we can stick to and make that hard decision because it's worth it in the end. So, just some other things we want to look out for: oversharers. So, if you meet somebody and in the first 20 seconds of knowing them, you know their entire life story, that can be a red flag because they are somebody that struggles with boundaries over what they're saying. So if they have personal information about you, um, they have personal information about you and they struggle with setting that boundary of what they say, then your personal information will come out of their mouth, even if it's unintentional. Undersharers, this can be a little bit harder to depict. So, say your friend, you perceive that you're friends with somebody, but you know absolutely nothing about their life. This can be a red flag in that there is a socially accepted level of information that we share amongst friends. So if somebody's super private, that's fine. But if you don't know anything about their life and they know everything about yours, that's something that we want to kind of just ask ourselves, what's their intention of being our friend if they can't tell us anything that's happening in their life? Another thing we want to look out for is other people that we know for certain are in our corner are wary of them. So this would be, say somebody comes up to me and they're like, Julie, I need advice. I'm hurt beyond belief. Um, I told Susie this personal information about me, and I didn't expect her to tell anybody, and she thought it was funny and went around and told everybody, and I don't know what to do. That's something that we want to necessarily think in our head. Maybe Susie has a problem sharing information. Another thing we want to look out for is subtle ways to try to control us or our opinion. So think about somebody tells us a story, right? And it's something that they went through. And based on the story they tell us, we're like, wow, Sally's really in the wrong here. I can't believe Sally did that. But then you hear the story from other people that were there, and you realize that Susie didn't tell you everything. And Susie's actually in the wrong. And she just only told you a little bit of it to make it so that you would side with her. That's something that we definitely want to be mindful of, be careful of, could be a red flag. And then I just love this little meme here. I had to learn the difference between who was in my corner and who was in my business. Know the difference between people that want to know about your life because they want you to succeed and people that want to know about your life because they want to gossip about you. Oh, this got a little bit messed up. I just had to download this to make it work. But it's supposed to say screenshots are forever. Social media is a great thing. So much things have come from social media, 911 Wonder Woman and the Within the Trenches podcast, all that was born on social media. But screenshots are forever, people. It's okay to be friends with people that we work with on social media. I'm friends with a ton of people I work with on social media. But we have to censor what we say on social media even more. Social media is not for feelings. Yes, Dr. Jones, receipts. It's not for feelings. If you feel strongly about something, don't post it on social media. Wait until, if you really want to post it, wait until your emotions have gone down, reread something, make sure that it's something that can't be taken the wrong way. I know personally, I ended up getting investigated for something I post on social media at one point after a traumatic call. I tend to write when I have strong feelings, and I wrote this beautifully written poem about what I felt during the call. And I shared it on social media. I thought it was great. It was a great poem. The problem was I had too many details about the call in what I wrote. And the department I worked for at the time perceived it as I was disclosing information about the call. Ultimately, they saw that I had no ill intentions and I just got a verbal warning for it. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. I wasn't trying to share information about the call. I just wanted to get my feelings out. Social media is not the place to do it. Please, please, please do not write something on social media of any form and say, especially if it's about a coworker, just don't do it. Don't write your feelings. It's safer that way. You need to preserve yourself and your career. All right, so life isn't black and white, and our yes, dog pics, Roxy. I love the pictures of your dog. She has this little dog with like, she like dyes the top of his hair purple sometimes. Side. um, I'm getting sidetracked. So life isn't black and white, and our friendships don't have to be either. But we need to be aware of people that don't want to see us succeed, because if we tell them our next move and it's not set in stone, then they can sabotage it. So when in doubt, hold your tongue. I know personally, I tend to share more information when I've had a few adult beverages in me. So if I'm unsure if someone's in my corner, I limit the amount of beverages I have in front of them. It's not worth it to me to share something that somebody could potentially sabotage over a few glasses of wine. So, how do I know all of this? So I am 29. I've been dispatching 8 years, as I said before. And this year, I went through a ton of growth professionally and experienced a ton of sugar honey iced tea, if you know what I mean. I went to my first conference ever in August of last year, and I caught the training bug. So I started applying to all these different opportunities. In March of this year, I was the inaugural recipient of 911 Wonder Woman's Fireworks Scholarship. Fun fact, apply for those scholarships that Sarah said, because I got that scholarship and less than a year later, look where I am. It's worth it. Apply. So I got that scholarship and I went to the 360 dispatcher training program in March. When I left there, I had the opportunity to write a blog for 911 Wonder Woman, the opportunity to speak on Ricardo's podcast, and the opportunity to speak today. Then, next thing I know, it's June, and I'm in Kentucky speaking on 911 Wonder Woman's panel at NINA 2022. All of a sudden, I have dispatchers from all over the country friending me on social media, texting me, trying to hang out, all this other stuff, and I'm thriving. This all happened, the Juliet Brown. This all happened between March of this year and June of this year. So just in 4 months, 4 small months, my professional life changed drastically. My social circle, or my corner, moved 5 leaps ahead. I stop, breathe, look around. My fiance, she's 5 leaps behind, waiting for me to come back because she wasn't ready to move forward. Asking me to come back and asking me to wait for her. And I couldn't. So when the dust from that finally settles, I pause, breathe, look around. My best friend at the time is 5 steps behind, waiting for me to come back because she wasn't ready to move forward. So I'll end on this great quote from Brianna West's book, The Mountain Is You. Your new life is going to cost you your old one. It's going to cost you your comfort zone and your sense of direction. It's going to cost you your relationships and friends. It's going to cost you being liked and understood. It doesn't matter. The people who are meant for you are going to meet you on the other side. You're going to build a new comfort zone around the things that actually move you forward. Instead of being liked, you're going to be loved. Instead of being understood, you're going to be seen. All you're going to lose is what was built for a person you no longer are. So have faith. Work through the pain of losing all the people not meant for you, the pain of not having someone to text at 3 a.m., and keep moving forward because it's worth it. All right, Ricardo, I'm ready. Oh,
Holy
I can't.
shit. Wow. Yeah, I just had to jump in here and just start with that. Holy shit. That
Oh, good.
was
The ham dip is in my
amazing.
email. Sorry, I just got really excited. The ham dip is in my email.
You just did an amazing job in your session, but the ham dip, that's
Yes.
the key.
Yes, the ham
That's
dip.
the payoff. That's the payoff here at the end. Yo. Oh my God. Okay, so I want to say this really quick. You mentioned the ranch and everything, and I remember us sitting at the airport getting ready to fly out, and I said to you, I'd asked you if you, because you had said that you wanted to, get into doing some speaking, maybe some training and stuff like that, and I asked, like, what would you talk about? And you said you weren't sure, you kind of had an idea, and then I said, well, I think I'm pretty sure you were the first person, you and Sarah, that is, to know that I was actually going to be doing Dare to Be Great 4. And I had asked you to be a speaker right off the bat, right then and there. And you're like, okay. And bam, here we are. And you just rocked the hell out of this session.
Thanks.
That was great. That was, I don't know what else to say. That was badass. It was very, very well done. I loved it. You really spoke to me. I started out 2020 wanting to bring a lot of people up and help and do so many things, and I believe I accomplished that. But also, in the same sense, there were many people who I thought were in my inner circle as well, who just were not in my corner, and they were not ready to grow either. So everything that you have said really hit home as I'm sitting here just nodding my head. Like, of course you couldn't see me, nobody else. I'm just like, yeah, no, you're right. No, for real. So well done. Damn. There is a question in here. I want to get to this here. Excuse me, really quick. And it says, what advice can you give to someone who is thinking of starting a career in 911? However, they are discouraged because of a rumored toxic career.
I would just say that I think it only takes one person to change a center from being toxic to being not toxic. You just have to be that light, and you got to find the people in whatever center you're in or whatever center you join that can be the pivotal change makers and get them on board, and then slowly you can get everybody along with.
Perfect. You're like, I think.
I think.
No, that's good. I want to go back over here to the chat really quick. So, I mean, there was all kinds of engagement and everything throughout the entire thing. I mean, there was someone in here who said that they really needed this this virtual event more than they thought during this time. So this is really good. Again, this is this is a spot where people can come back and see this session as well as all the other powerful sessions that
Mhm.
we have for Dare to Be Great. But I am so damn proud of you.
Thanks.
This was great. Well done. Um,
Thanks.
Folks, make sure to check out everything that Juliet is doing. Also, all of the speakers are going to be in Discord, so make sure to check that out. I made sure to make it easy so you don't have to go to rules and scroll down and hit the check mark and all that other stuff like it was before. As soon as you get in there, you're a member. All the stuff is on the left side, and there's an actual Dare to Be Great channel in there where speakers are going and talking to attendees and everything. So if there's anything else, make sure to reach out to them. And Julie, well done once again.
Thank you.
We will see all of you here in the next one. It's going to start in about 10 or so minutes, and we are going to have a killer panel that is coming up. It's going to be good. So make sure to stay tuned for that. It is No Shame in My Mom game. And I'm excited for that one as well. So we will see you all in the next one. I will bring you over. And Julie, amazing, amazing, amazing.
Thanks.